Hi,
Hey,
everybody. Hi. Okay.
hey, girl.
Hi, Mimi. How are you?
I'm real good. How are you?
I'm good. You've been through it this past 48 hours, haven't you?
Oh my God, I got mugged last night.
But what happened? You were outside of the train station, you got your phone robbed?
Yeah, somebody asked to borrow my phone, and then they just completely came up to me, took it, and ran off.
Girl, you're a New Yorker. Why borrow your phone? No,
Well,
I'm sorry.
oh, I know, it was in Jersey too.
You were,
So,
yeah, that whole borrow the phone thing is like, I need some money to get my family back across the country because we got robbed when we were here.
right?
I hate to say it because your faith in humanity is kind of questioned, but sometimes, and you can't obviously judge a person by what they look like, and you want to do the kindest thing, but in this day and age, it's hard to do that. I'm so sorry. I know that's,
It's okay.
thank God it was
I
just your
tried to
phone
chase
though.
after the guy. Yeah, exactly. I tried chasing after the guy, but he ran across the train tracks, like literally across two tracks of train, which is scary. I was like, for a phone? So.
You guys, can you do me a favor in the chat room? Can you tell me if Mimi is cutting in and out? Because I feel like it's cutting completely in and out and I don't hear anything from Mimi. So I want to know if it's just me or if it's on Mimi's side. See, they're so good. They're right away. They said a bit, a little. They can hear just fine.
You know
Both of,
what?
okay.
Okay, Michelle, darling, I'm getting a little bit of a lag here. I
I
want
wonder
to,
if there's something we could,
you know what? I
let
want
me
to
ask the
restart I want to
producers.
restart my connection.
Okay.
Do you want to take it away for a minute?
So I want to what?
You want to can you handle this for 1 minute and talk to the lovely people, and I'm gonna come right back.
Oh yeah, boo, I got this.
All right, I'll
Don't worry
see you in
about
a
me.
minute.
Okay, so first of all, I do want to say for everybody that was at our show on Saturday night at the Gramercy Theater in New York City, thank you so much for loving our show. And Queer Tea did a cute review, and thank you everybody who was there and got a chance to see it. I see that somebody um, put Jinx's "I Dreamed a Dream." Little Edie sang "I Dreamed a Dream" on the queue down here. That was amazing. There was just so many amazing moments. And I wanted to thank everybody for supporting us and for coming out if you were able to. So it was pretty amazing. Last night's show, I see a lot of you guys talking about how Coco versus Alyssa, who won, who didn't win. It's all subject, like art, subject to, interpretation. Um, Seeing Alyssa go personally was very, very difficult for me. Very difficult for me. I absolutely live for Alyssa Edwards. I'm talking about Alyssa Edwards, the queen. Yes, you all have issues with, we all do. Maybe like someone better than another as far as them out of drag and their personalities and, you know, all that stuff. But with that said, seeing Alyssa go was really upsetting for me because I think that queen is so, so fierce. I don't know. Mimi, how did you feel about Alyssa going home last night? Did it upset you the way it upset me?
I think it's hard when you get down to the final, you know, five or six queens. It starts getting really nitpicky, and at this point, I think all of these queens deserve to, you know, win. So, it's literally just a little bit of luck, a little bit of the game, a little bit of circumstances, a lot of talent, so you just never know. And, I don't want to see any of the queens go home, and I think fortunately for us, this isn't the Hunger Games. They don't get killed off. So we'll get to see them all over.
Yeah, I can tell you that that was a really and when I knew that Alyssa had to go up against Coco, I was really scared for her, but because Coco turns a lip sync, but Alyssa is a cute lip syncer too. So I knew it was going to be like, oh my God, and everybody's waiting for this, um, and it happened. And I see people going, well, I don't know if Coco beat her. Hang on, kids, I'm going to try to find out what this means. Come here. This is my husband who's never seen. Um, they said my ping is high. I don't know what that means. Do you have your stuff open on here? Because you need to close it.
Yeah,
Can you close it? Go ahead. Um, I know this is technical stuff, but here's the thing. If I'm not logged on before you guys, I can't see what's going on. So we can't log on before. Okay, tell me if this is better, producers. Mimi, you talk.
well, I was having a little bit of feedback earlier, so I think maybe you had another
Talk,
window
Mimi.
open, but this
I am
is
so
this is
not
the
a
$2
Mac person, but
elimination luncheon. This is the $2 luncheon.
okay, but I'm telling you, my husband is the Mac person. I'm the PC person. So when it comes to doing this Mac stuff, I'm like, "Ugh," it's not working well for me. Okay, this is a little bit better. So let's carry on. So last night's elimination, the lip sync for your life was very, very difficult for me, very upsetting for me because I did not want to see Alyssa Edwards go home because what I love most about Alyssa Edwards is what she brings to the runway. It's crazy. It's not what I'm used to seeing. She holds her purse up here. She points to things before she goes. That face is what probably, in my opinion, of course, this is my opinion, one of the most gorgeous faces to grace that runway. Like beautiful, beautiful Joan Collins, just absolutely gorgeous. So it was very upsetting. But Coco did turn it. I mean, that whole thing when she pointed to her mouth, and I was like, that's a wrap. Because Alyssa's cute and she can dance and all that, but I was like, that's a wrap. She knows everything. Um, it was very, very upsetting last night, but whatever. I'm going to go to some of the questions here because obviously technical stuff is going on. Adam says, oh, hi, Adam. I follow Adam on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. Okay. Adam says, with the always big pageant performer divide, who do you think comes closest to bridging it? Here's the thing. I don't know why this divide exists. I think that these queens create their own divide and then complain about it, which I find really, really silly because nobody's doing it. And as a matter of fact, I think Jinx said last night that she's sick of being called the funny one. Why is she always a funny queen? I agree. I don't understand the same way the LGBT community and everybody out there we're fighting labels. The same way you put these queen is this, kind of like we don't want to just classify them as one thing. That's why the challenging to Jinx, I kept pushing her and pushing her and pushing her because I knew she wasn't getting like what I was trying to say. And then the minute it clicked in, you see what's happening now? Do you see what's happening now? She's off and running in a whole kind of different thing. And she isn't just a comedy queen. And Roxy isn't just a pageant queen. I think everybody's really trying what they can do to break out of the box. So I don't know if there is really a divide or if they're just creating a divide. I think Jinx is trying to kind of, and I think Alaska can do both things too, Adam. So I'm not really sure that there's, a divide, so to speak, but whatever. Alyssa is coming, you guys. I know you guys are saying, where's Alyssa? She's coming, don't worry. But we talk first about the show. We talk about some things that happened last night. Then we go to the eliminated queen, and Alyssa is very fun to talk to, her own language. So I'm just going to tell you now. Get ready for this. Oh, this is a good question. Don't know how to say your name. Eliezer wants to know if this lip sync is this the lip sync that you didn't agree with? Um, no, I agreed with this. I wasn't happy about it, and it was so close. Don't take that the wrong way. Don't think that I wanted Coco to go home either. I just, when you see queens that you really, really love, it gets harder, especially at this point in the show, to send a queen home because you start to get so attached to them, and it's really, really difficult. I didn't disagree with this. I really didn't because Coco was amazing, and Coco turned it, and they were both really good, really, really good. But this is what happened. Alexis Mateo's joining us in the room. I see her. Hi, Alexis. Producers, until Mimi comes back, if you want to put people on and start with some questions, we could do that just with me. We could do that with whoever until Alyssa joins us. And if Alyssa's here, you could put Alyssa on whenever she's there. I guess Mimi's having some technical issues. So we could do that as well. Just put them on. In the meantime, I will take some questions. Amanda says, do you agree with Santino that Alyssa's dress was the worst dress in ever in all seasons combined? Absolutely not. But Santino and I disagree a lot. Um, and that's fine. You know, he's got his style and I got mine. Clearly, we are very, very different. I do not think that was the worst dress. You know what it was to me? Alyssa looked like a junior pageant girl, almost like she was wearing a dance recital costume, which would make sense. Uh, was it a good outfit? No, not at all. It was pretty hideous. Was it the worst? No, there's been worse out there. Serena Chacha wore lederhosen with I mean, come on. So it definitely wasn't the worst. But somebody can have their opinion. Santino and I disagree all the time. And that's fine. Santino's got his taste and it's great taste. I have my taste and it's extremely tacky. And I like tacky, but tacky's got to have, in my opinion, people say, well, you're gaudy, you're not tacky. No, I'm tacky. And I like to be tacky. I don't mind it. But it's got to have a flow and it's got to have a rhyme and it's got to have a reason. So that's my thoughts on it. Mimi, did you think that when Santino said that was the worst dress he's ever seen ever in all the seasons, that was legit?
Sorry, my connection was just getting started up. What did you ask me? I'm sorry.
Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't.
Do you think that it was legit for Santino to say that Alyssa's outfit was the worst dress he's ever seen in all the seasons?
Um, well, it's an opinion, first of all. That's going to be the most important thing at the end of the day to remember. Was I a fan of the dress? I've seen Alyssa wear a lot better. And when you're getting
Right.
down to the top six, you better pull out a showstopper every time. I thought there were a couple of looks on the runway that were like, in general, I would like, well, I don't, there were a few I wasn't a fan of. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well, he read me for the last outfit that she wore that I actually liked it. So,
Which
Alexander
one was
wants
that
to
one?
know the one with the really ill-fitting kind of dynasty couch damask print suit last week. It was teal and black, which I actually really, really loved
No,
because I'm a mess.
I
But
love
whatever.
that one too.
Yeah, okay, good. We're a mess together. But then again, you did wear neon green and turquoise. So, Alexander Westenberg says, what did you really think about Jinx's outfit this week? This was my opinion that wasn't aired. I loved the hair. I loved the makeup. I loved the whole idea. Um, the dress was kind of off. The dress was kind of, I don't know, it was a weird dress. It wasn't the best, but the makeup and the hair more than made up for it. More than made up for it. So I think that's why people were going crazy for it. I can tell
Yeah,
you that everybody, go ahead.
the makeup was really spectacular to me. And I
It was
love the idea of the look.
risky.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, I wanted it to go further. Like if you're gonna do a Dios de Muertos, whatever look,
Dia de
you
los
really gotta.
Muertos.
I can't. I'm. It's way too early in the morning for me to be talking Spanish.
All right.
Um, I don't do before noon very often. Um,
Hold
so
on, John. Wait, hold on. Hold that thought. John just said, why does it seem like the girls get sent home after they stand up to the judges? Oh, no, 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 no. They're
oh no.
standing up to no, they're standing up to the judges throughout the whole show. It's just most of them, it's not standing up to the judges. They can say whatever they want. Bring it. Bring it. It's not that they stand up. there's a fine line between standing up and being defensive. And being defensive is just ugly. It just doesn't work, and it seems like an excuse. And that stuff doesn't rub us the right way. It doesn't rub me the right way. It doesn't rub Rue the right way. Right way. Making excuses is just tired. So nobody gets home sent home, just to let you know, before, because they stand up to the judges. You can stand up to us however much you want. So just to clear that up. All right, go ahead. What were you saying, Mimi?
Well, I'm in just response to that, even her response to Santino was very strange to me.
It-
I felt like she kind of jumped the gun, and so, she didn't even defend what he said, what he was attacking her for. She just kind of was like, "Well, I'm gonna lip sync, so I'm not worried about it."
No, and you know
It
how
was
I took that, and we'll talk to her about it. But I took that as she was upset. She was upset, and she was upset with herself, and she was, kind of like, I'm done with this lip syncing, and I know it's going to happen anyway. And Alyssa's
Mhm.
different, and look, she comes from Texas. They do things differently in each kind of regional area, and you have to get into somebody's way of how they speak and how their attitude is. And I really didn't, when I was watching it, you can always tell on my face because I wear everything on my face along with 10 pounds of makeup. You can always tell what I'm thinking. And, I didn't feel that Alyssa was being mean or attacking. I just think that she was frustrated with herself. That's the way I felt about it last night. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, and by the
Yeah,
way, I'm not blaming it on Texas. I'm just saying regionally, like Jersey girls do things different than girls from Mesquite, Texas. It's just the way that it is. I'm not blaming it on that, but I know that throughout the show, I see that people have ways of doing something differently. Their way, and that has a lot to do with the way where they're raised and how, Southern girls are different than slutty Yankees. It's just a
well,
fact.
I think a big thing that a lot of people don't realize is that drag is so extremely regional. The way that they do drag in, like a New York or San Francisco or LA is going to be very different than Texas pageant drag or,
Totally.
Southeastern pageant drag, which is very different from Texas pageant drag, which is very different from Midwestern pageant drag, So you're going to have your own ways of doing things. And, when all of a sudden you're thrown into this environment where everybody's kind of put into this, like, you know, limbo world of RuPaul's Drag Race where everything is kind of all up in the air, sometimes people react to it differently.
Yeah, Alexis said sometimes, Alexis Mateo, and she and I, you could ask her. She and I have had our bouts that didn't even get shown on the show of going back and forth with each other you know, because my vision for her was different than her vision for herself. And she said sometimes you have to defend yourself from the judges so they know how important your character and the passion you have for this is. And I agree. And it is appreciated. One thing, again, excuses are one thing. uh, the way you feel about something and passion is another. And it's very, very true. Sometimes they do. You guys, you queens do have to defend what it is you're trying to do versus saying, "Well, I didn't because she took this," and you know what I mean. If she wasn't, no. But if you're passionate about what you do and it comes out that way, then by all means say it. So whatever. And you're
Well,
right.
look, I mean, drag is an art form, and it's one of those art forms uh, where your body is the canvas, and so when you're getting critiqued, it becomes incredibly personal. It's not like somebody's critiquing a painting and you're like, okay, well, it's the painting on the wall, it's not me. But when you're critiquing your body, who you are, what you look like, it becomes incredibly personal, and you do have to defend it sometimes,
You know what though,
and
Mimi? I do want to say this. I understand it is personal because we are talking to you, and it's very easy for somebody to say, "Girl, don't take it personally." You have to take it personally because we're talking to you. But it's not like me being on Twitter and somebody saying, "Damn, Michelle Visage got fat," or "Damn, Mimi, you lost weight, you look good," or "Damn, you're fat." And how many times have you and I personally heard this? And we've got our own battles and our own demons that we fight. And I'm a friggin' recovering anorexic since I was 16 years old and bulimic and all that. People don't know that. People don't care about that. That's the difference between personalizing that, which can damage your soul, and on stage
Mhm.
as a drag queen, you can't personalize me saying, you can't, because all I'm saying is Mimi, look. If you, and Alexis, I've done this to Alexis a few times. Don't pad your waist, cinch your waist, pad your hips. That's not me saying you're fat. That's me saying, girl, you look bigger than you need to look. And it's not you, it's your padding or it's the way you're wearing it. Let's figure out a way to do it better. But it's hard not to personalize it and say, bitches call me fat. Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, like she's a size two? It becomes that defense mechanism to protect our egos kicks in as a queen, as a human, as whatever. That's what happens. And let me
Mhm.
tell this to all the queens that are um, trying out for the show for season 6. You can't personalize it within your ego, within your soul. You have to take it personally on the outside and go, okay, she's talking about my look. She's not talking about me. She's talking about my look. So I'm going to listen to her and I'm going to, or Rue or Santino, and I'm going to try to deal with it that way. And I think that's the difference.
Yep. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's your opinion and it's your note, and you can decide whether or not to take the adjustment, take the critique, take the criticism, assess it, and apply it or not. And that's your call as an artist, whether or not you want to do it. And you could benefit from it, or you can continue doing it. I think Sharon Needles in the documentary for her music video, this club is a haunted house, had this really great line that, like, ever since I saw it a couple months ago, has just like constantly been pinging in my head again and again. And she said, someone once told her that she knew successful a lot of artists who failed because they refused to compromise you know and so it's important to remember, you got to have a strong vision. You got to know who you are and deliver it at all times. However, at the same time, you have to know when to compromise that vision and when to listen to other people and apply that to yourselves, because just maybe the thing they're trying to tell you to do will make the version of you that you're trying to be even better.
But I don't even think that you need to compromise. I just think you need to sway a little bit. You don't need to compromise your Christianity. You just need to kind of work in some other things. And here's the thing about Sharon. Here's the thing about some other queens this season. I won't name names because it's still going on. They listened and they did sway a little bit and give us a little bit more. And when they did, I think they surprised themselves with how great it was. Oh my God, I never thought I could do this and make it work. Yes, we're not doing it for us. I'm not going, oh my God, I'm going to make this queen look like an ass. Try this. You know what I mean?
You
It's
don't have
not.
anything to lose.
I don't. And they don't
What
either.
would you even gain from it?
Nothing. That's the whole point. You think I would be
Exactly.
there if I was trying to hurt? No. TK says, do we think that Santino is a little harsh on the runway critiques? Didn't appreciate his non-constructive criticism. Santino is harsh, but um, it's different. Santino's not harsh. Santino loves the queens just as much as I do, but the way Santino talks sometimes can come across harsh, but no, he loves the queens just as much as I do. I can promise you, I have
Hmm.
3-hour conversations with Santino. Like, that's my brother, and he loves the girls. It's just Santino's sense of
It's
humor
his
is really
delivery.
dry and twisted, and it comes across that way. I promise you guys, it feels that way, but it's absolutely not.
He's just
Mm-mm.
really opinionated, and I think sometimes it just comes across a bit strong when, you know, I think he doesn't know how to soften it because that's just him, but he's super, super nice, and it's just his opinion as a fashion designer, what he thinks about what you're wearing.
Yeah, and he's obviously allowed to. Everybody's allowed to, right? Um,
Of course.
he just says it
Everybody,
differently.
and everybody does. I mean, girl, you read what people write to you on Twitter.
Yeah.
There are people out there in the world with much stronger, worser ways of saying these things. So,
And
um,
and not only that, don't worry, it's an hour show, like it's an hour show. We have hours and hours of critique. They can't see it all. You know what I mean? You
It's
just can't see it
40,
all.
it's like 40, what is it? Like 42 minutes after commercials. You're literally watching, days worth of footage, multiple cameras, and they're long days, edited down to 42 minutes to tell a story. You're not going to get to see the whole picture, um, and remember that when you're analyzing, how the critiques are done or how things are done. It's entertainment and it's fun. It's just it's a lot of fun, and if you have that mindset, you'll I think for the better.
Heather said, "Do we think that some of the queens would have made it further if they were more sewing, outfit creating challenges?" Every season is different with the amount of challenges, the different kind of challenges that, um, I think fewer queens than more really, really sew. Is that a correct statement, Mimi?
100%. I lot Most drag queens I know don't sew their outfits. Um, it was very funny. I think Manila had tweeted last night, "Hey, remember on Drag Race and the queens had to make all their clothes?"
Yeah, I do remember that. But you know what? And but I saw Delta made a comment, or somebody made a comment about that last night on um, Facebook or something about, remember when queens had to make their own clothes on Drag
Yeah,
Race?
it
Was that
was
you?
Manila. No, it
It
was
was Manila.
Manila.
But why that came across to me as like bitchy? Why that comment?
Well, it's Manila.
I don't know.
um,
I just didn't think it needed to be said. I feel like there are some, look, every season's different. What would you have to have the sewing challenge? Like every single season has to be the same thing, or have it, you know what I mean? Why? It doesn't matter. It's called evolution. I'm not doing what Turkana Boy and Lucy were doing. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's true. Like you move yes, we do a snatch game every season. That's the one thing that's constant, which is why it's so frustrating when you have such a crap cast of characters. But
yeah,
I just thought it was really unnecessary. And sometimes I see things on there from former contestants that upset me. It's like, come on, girls. This show is what gave you life. This is why the people know who you are. I'm not saying you have to be
it's
all,
changing the world of drag.
but come on, don't just come on. I'm just saying. And
And just enjoy it and be supportive, and look, the reality of it is that in order to be a successful in order to be a successful drag artist, you have to do a lot of different things, and if you don't know how to do them, you need to be connected to the people who do it, and so it's a lot of management and skill set, uh, and that's what the show's about. So you're going to see different things every season. Some seasons are going to be more sewing, some are going to be more acting, some might be more singing. Who knows what's going to be in the future? Maybe next season will be all dancing. Who
I hope
knows?
not more
And
singing.
some of these girls.
Zachary says, what do you think about the amount of labeling going on between the queens? Well, we kind of covered that a little bit earlier, but yeah, we are supposed to build each other up and not tear each other down. And labeling is just a tough thing in general in life. And I am not a fan of it, but that's why I don't like, I'm the comedy queen, I'm the pageant queen, I'm the camp queen. That's why when people come for me and say, well, why don't you say stuff about the pageant queens that you say about the camp queens? I do. To me, I just see a queen. I don't see people with like little labels over their head saying camp, pageant, spooky. I don't see that.
It's
It's
becoming the
just,
Jets and the Sharks.
that's what it is. And it's not, we're not going to let that happen because a queen is a queen is a queen. Do they have different styles? Absolutely. Are they both as fabulous? Absolutely. I don't think, you know, one is better than the other. I just see each as an individual up there on the stage. So that's the way I look at it. And I don't like the labeling. But guess what? The queens are labeling themselves back there, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean they are. It's kind of it's really strange to me. I don't this need to I identify. I think it's become stronger and stronger, especially because partially because of Drag Race, because there has been, I think, maybe as a drag queen who watches the show, like you definitely see the different types of drag, and so I think sometimes you feel like you have to defend it, or if you're not a fan of another style of drag, to put it down. I don't understand that because I don't do that myself, but that's all that I can think of. I don't really understand why queens feel the need to put themselves in those boxes.
Well, I'm glad that Jinx spoke up about it last night and saying, I don't like this. I'm done. So, whatever. I'm glad that she
It's
said something about that.
it's very strange. It's very strange. I never really had a lot of interaction with pageant drag queens, prior to going on Drag Race. It just was never, it's not very big. There's not a lot of pageants in the Northeast, and
Yeah.
in New York City, it has nothing to do with the drag scene here at all. So, it's
No,
kind of
and
interesting to
and
kind of try.
growing up in New York City, I wasn't familiar with pageant queens until I started traveling. Like when I was in the group and we would travel around, I would try to see as much gay culture as I could around the world, especially around the country. And having said that, I would see a lot of pageant flyers and stuff like that. And they were very, I was involved in the ballroom, very, very different than the ballrooms. And I love them. I appreciated it and I love them. And it wasn't probably until 1990 that I got turned on to gay pageants and trans pageants
Hmm.
and drag queen pageants. So, that's kind of when I got into them. But no, we don't have them in New York per se, New York City. Like every time I went to a pageant in New York City, outside of the ballrooms, it was like crazy, campy, dirty, filthy stuff, which is
It's very
fantastic. But
different.
it is absolutely very, very different. So, um,
It's interesting. We're literally seeing like kind of a mini drag culture war unfold on television. These like, you know, different styles within the drag world. And it's funny to me, I think of like the crazy, crazy queens of like San Francisco, from like Tranny Shack, doing just, absurd stuff, or, like queens in New York like Rosewood, doing like insane.
what happened? Did Mimi lock up? Okay, there you are. See, it's not just me. You guys, everybody's like, it's me. It's not me. It's Mimi. All right, so we're gonna get Alyssa on any minute. Don't worry, we're working on that. I think Shangela's here today. We've got Jiggly here today. We've got Alexis Mateo here today. We've got a lot of people representing in the chat room today, which is fabulous. And that
Amazing.
person that was on here that was being so mean and calling everybody the F word and everybody was getting upset about was just banned. So,
Yay.
um, you know, yeah, I mean, they can come on in another name and that's how it's done. But, we have ain't nobody got time for that. Um, Mark said, "What did it mean? What did you mean when you said Jinx's looks make you feel crazy? Really, that needs an explanation. Sometimes she'll come out. I'll just, there's so much going on that but that's not a bad thing. That's absolutely not a bad thing because I am crazy, and if I'm crazier, then it just works. I like to be kept on my toes. So when I don't see things going now, go like when she came out last night in the Dias de los Muertos, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't see that coming. I didn't expect that. And I liked it. I really, really, I didn't like the dress, but the makeup made up for it so much that it didn't even matter. So that was good. All right, so we're getting Alyssa on, and producers, you can put her on um, once you've got her. And Titi Kaka is on from South Africa. Hi, baby. Thank you so much for loving us. Joining us is my baby Alyssa Edwards. Hi, lover.
Hello,
How?
Michelle. Hi, Mimi.
Hi.
So, Alyssa, do you have headphones with a microphone or no?
Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you very loudly, and there's going to be an echo if you don't get headphones.
I don't. Do you have
So,
any
do you have
headphones?
them? But
Should I have the small ones or the bigger ones?
I don't think it
well, the
matters.
small ones show your face, the big ones don't, but it
Let's
has
see.
to have a microphone, boo boo.
We're getting the small ones.
Okay, but make sure it has the microphone or else we won't hear you. Needs the microphone. You got that?
Hmm.
Okay, good. How are you, gorgeous?
I am good. How are you guys?
We're good. I was just saying earlier how sad I was about last night's elimination when it happened.
Do you know, I think that
I was,
watching it, I wasn't prepared to be as sad as I was. Because, like, watching hang on, we're going to hook this up. I have to get help.
okay. Does it have a microphone? My God, that doesn't look like it has a microphone.
Here, we'll put this in.
It depends on if you're on a
Um,
MacBook, it'll actually pick it up without the.
it will? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Mimi. See, I'm so
Sorry.
Mac deficient.
Just a second. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
My God, look at her. She's just somebody putting something in her ears.
My gosh, hallelujah for like electronics these days.
Okay, so go. You weren't prepared to be as sad as you were. Is that what you were saying?
Not really. I mean, the RuPaul Drag Race experience is amazing, and I'm watching this season like play out, and sitting in my living room or in my watch party, seeing the whole gig live. So it's kind of like you're in the moment again. And the whole watch party when they told me to sashay was like, because nobody has an idea. And I'm kind of like, I feel myself melting in my chair. And I like the part at the very end when I said, I'm still a star. That was so very me. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. A little tear like streamed down my face. I was like, Texas is, one of the girls that have really gone above and beyond to be a champion. So, um, yeah, it's a little disappointing, but it's all good.
Um, could you feel, could you feel now, because I don't get to talk to you throughout the show, and I haven't seen you since the show, just at the premiere party or whatever. Could you feel how obsessed I was with you on the runway? Could you feel that?
Yes, and could you feel
Like
how obsessed
when
I was with you?
no, because I was too busy obsessing. Like I just was like, yeah, like jaw dropped, like
Every time I
amazing.
would come out on the runway, Michelle, I would be like beating the runway for you. And I would tell the girls in the back, I'm like, oh, Michelle was living for me. She thought my nails were sickening. And they're like, girl, this is not Michelle's drag race.
I know it's not. It's got nothing to do with me. Let me tell you something, Alyssa. I told these kids earlier. Everybody would like disagree with me on what you were wearing or whatever, and I do want to say that Santina was wrong. That outfit, look, it looked like a recital outfit from one of your kids at your school, but it was not the worst outfit ever in all the seasons of Runway. And look, for me, it doesn't really matter if I love it or not. Rue's got to love it, and the other queens, but it could be. Look,
There were much. There have
I
been
was
much worse.
obsessed.
There have been much worse.
Well, I just
Than
thought
that dress.
I thought that was a little ridiculous. I thought that was ridiculous to say the worst in all 5 seasons. I was like, I'm about to start naming wardrobes, but you know what? It's just an opinion, and I think that in this competition, I watched last week's Elimination Lunch, and Mimi, you made a very valid point that it gets intense, and a lot of times you feel like you are starting to react with some of the things that are being said, and I felt like I found myself like totally reacting, rebuttaling with what Santino was saying about my gig. I mean, so the worst in 5 seasons, I hope not, but hey, someone's got to be it, right?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. I didn't think that you were being defensive. I think that you were seeing, I felt like you were upset with yourself that you were there again. Was it more about that than it was about what Santino said or whatever?
Honestly, this goes to being. I think that when you are competitive, and I'm very competitive, and you set a standard for yourself and for your art, and art is subjective. This is something that we've watched all season. People are saying comedy queens and pageant queens, and is she pretty? Is she glamorous? Um, it's art, and it's moving art, and it's fascinating to the world. But for me and my art, I am competitive, so it is disappointing. But I will say this though, and I mean this. Um, I was kind of glad that I was getting a chance to lip sync because I wanted America to see that I wasn't a complete, ridiculous, utter fool. And when I was watching myself in the challenges, I was trying, believe it or not. It just was not my gig. And I thought if this gives me a chance to lip sync for my life, well, that's what got me here and in this competition. So I wanted America to kind of see, how a girl throws down with the get down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, I know a lot of people are wanting to know what the state of you and Coco's relationship is these days because that was a brutal battle to the end and you both turned it. And there's a lot of people on this chat room saying right now, that you were robbed and you won that lip sync. With that said, how are things between you and Coco now?
I'm going to say this. Coming onto the show, um, the Miss America, I'm not going to say scandal. The situation with Miss Gay America, it was very hard for me to put in the back of my mind because I had worked so many years to get to that point in my life and in my career, and it was a dream accomplished. However, I wasn't a good fit. And it happens every day in corporate America. And that's not a pageant answer, that's the truth. And seeing him there, it kind of was like an opportunity. I thought that we could maybe reconnect on a lot of different levels. I respect Coco. I think he is very, very talented, and he brings that energy to the stage. I think our relationship, I actually just went and spent 7 days with him in Vegas not even 2 weeks ago. And I will say that watching the show, some of the things are a little bothersome because we're in a competition and we're going at each other, right at each other's throats. But I never hit below the belt. I never made fun of anyone for their weight. I never
Mm.
made fun of anyone for their look. Um, and I think some of the things that were being said about me, I don't know. I would never do or say anything to potentially hurt someone for TV.
Yeah, but
And
Alyssa, you have to understand that most people are they're ballsy because they're hiding. If they saw you in person, they'd be kissing your ass. Trust me, the same people that call me fat or, have to say something about back rolls. By the way, I gave Jay Jolie a little slap for that because I thought it was inappropriate and unnecessary. And
yeah.
even though, look, we all battle our own demons. You don't do that. There's certain things you don't do. And I thought that was unnecessary. Because you are very far from fat, and I hate that word as it is. But let me just
Mm.
say that
It's just
these
such
Oh
a
no, baby, I'm
people,
oh I'm fat. I'm PHAT. I'm fat. So
okay.
it's
The
just
people
it's
that
just such a
comment, wait, let me
we
finish this thought. Hang on, Mimi. The people that comment are are irrelevant to your life. So don't personalize any of that, Alyssa. It does not matter what people say. It
well, I
doesn't.
don't I don't think that I don't think that I will say this. I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor, I'm a leader, I'm a counselor. I don't think that I capitalized on that. But we are friends. So like if me and you were homegirls, Michelle, we're rolling out on the weekends together and you're getting more attention to me on Saturday night and we get into a competition, this is the real deal. And I'm like, oh, Michelle, she's getting on my nerves. Bitch is fat. There ain't nothing funny about her. This girl, would you want to be my homegirl next weekend? When we got back to the house, you would be like, no deuces, And I will
Right,
say this,
right.
I respect Coco, and I mean we're friends. We're friends. I enjoyed all the girls on the show. Something that I wish would have been more capitalized um, is girl. I think Jinx is the T. She really
Mm.
is the T. And even though our drags are 100% completely different, the one thing that we share in common is we love being on stage. And I feel like there's something to be learned from every entertainer that was a part of the 14 member cast for season that make up
Mm.
season 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you have left a legend, a legacy rather, behind because out of everything this season, Alyssa, if you go on, fuck yeah, RuPaul's Drag Race and any of the other tumblers, there are more gifts of you than anybody else this season. You give the best face. You make the best faces, all the stuff, the sounds, all of it that you do in the mirror. I even have the segment that the Detox and you for the Rose Challenge that go back and forth with Detox was making fun of you in the workroom. I had that clip of that on my phone because I'm so obsessed with like Detox going, I'm done. That whole segment had me laughing so hard. And
No, girl, I had to
you,
ask my best friend. I was like, do I really do all the shenanigans? And she looked at me and she said, girl, you really carry on.
you can't see it? You can't see it?
Well, I mean, girl, come on, when you're living it. So I think
Yeah,
that
but
I
you're
was very
watching it
true.
now.
Well, but this is so normal to me. I've been like this since I was, probably able to walk and talk and live. Um,
Uh,
yeah, of course, when you're watching on TV, I'm like, I know I do this with my kids at the studio. If we're like getting
uh-huh.
ready to go on stage, I'm like, is everybody ready? And watching it, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so ADD, ADHD, ADD ridiculousness. Um, but it's fun. It's fun.
You're just a
It's the
man. All
mirror.
men are like that. Let me tell you something. I'm married to one. You're all ADD, ADHD all over the place, but it's the mirror faces that are everything, and the gifts and the caricatures. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a legacy, Alyssa. You know what I mean?
Well,
I think
I
that's
think that
huge.
well, thank you, Michelle. And coming from the first lady, I take that as a compliment.
Ah, thank you. Now, Mimi, I cut you off earlier. What were you trying to say, baby?
Oh, no, we're just talking about the commentary that people constantly make attacking people for being fat. But we've moved on from there. So,
Oh, okay. Look, that's going to go on forever, and that's going to go on in life. That's going to go on everywhere, and it's just stupid. It's like be creative if you're going to do it. You know what I mean? If you're going to go for that and go for that low blow, be creative with it. It's like, really?
And something else about that, I think that it's so irrelevant to the gig. And honestly,
Totally.
so when I sit back and watch, and people in the watch party are like, do they really think you're like a plus size girl? And I'm like, who really cares at that point? It's just completely
Mm,
irrelevant. If the only thing they
mm.
can say to me is I have back rolls, or, I will tell you this though, I do like check out in the mirror in the back. No. Um,
Well,
Look,
I mean,
I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I'm a
You should
secure
be.
man. And,
You should be, boo.
it is what it is, girl. And it was what it
Yes.
was.
there's
And you're
there's a lot
gorgeous.
of in the gay community in particular. I think there's a lot of body image stuff. That it goes.
Oh,
There's
girls too.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I mean, it's all very relatable, but it comes from totally
It's
different places.
society. It's society. Pick up a Vogue magazine. Pick up a Maxim magazine. You can go
Well, of
into
course.
convenience stores. And society um, has this image of what they think a woman, a model. And now we as men dressing in dresses as female impersonators, we have the same idea of what we want to be. So that's why we wear corsets and undergarments. Of course, we all want to be small. And that's why I had back rolls. My corset was so tight.
Girl,
Well,
I
and
know. It
the
gives
other
me a
thing
penis.
too, I think the other thing too in the gay community, especially coming out of the AIDS crisis, there was such a focus on men looking healthy to
Yeah.
prove that you weren't sick, and
Yeah.
it was really impression in our community, out of the AIDS crisis to like go to the gym and work out to prove that you're healthy, and now it's become so extreme that if you're not a gym rat, you know, you're not as valuable in the gay community.
Mm,
It's kind of crazy.
mm. Well, queens can't be gym rats, really. I mean, it just throws your body off. So you can be cardio queens, but not gym rats. All right, we got people that want to talk. Look at you go. We have people that want to talk. While we're getting the camera set up, Alyssa, how did you feel about Real Alaska Talks?
I'll be honest with you. I went to the competition to compete. I really wasn't bothered. Um,
Really?
if it didn't involve me, it didn't involve a challenge. I was like, I met a lot of really interesting people and characters there that inspired me, that motivated me, and I think that's the beauty of the RuPaul's Drag Race. You know, I know we all get to sit at home, we watch all the madness, the chaos, the confusion, but there were a lot of great moments that happened in that room. And I think,
Oh, absolutely.
and just like we seen last night with us laughing with Jessica Wilde when she came, on the screen from the pink box, there was a lot of that. It was more than just us being catty and fighting, but we are all, you know, we're scratching for that title, for that crown
Now,
and that
Alyssa,
check.
but when you
Mhm.
when you walked in the workroom for the first time and you saw Coco, who was in there first? You were Coco. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Whoever saw each other. Okay, you were there. When you first saw Coco, what went through your mind?
Um, I thought she's a fierce queen, and this is another good one to the add to the list. I started looking around the room, and I was like, my competition side of me is like, oh, she's talented. Oh, she's creative. Oh, he can
Mm,
sew.
mm.
Oh, I seen a YouTube video of her. So I started just instantly like not sizing everyone up, but I was like ideally putting myself on a totem pole, like where are you gonna rank in this gig?
Yeah,
So
gotcha. Well, okay, good. Timothy's joining us. Hi, Timothy.
Hi.
How are you,
Hi, can you
bud?
guys hear me?
Yeah, it looks like you either work in a school or a prison. I hope it's a prison.
It's actually a pretty industrial chic space, but you can't really tell from this view, can you?
No, I love it.
You
So
guys
what?
all look great, by the way.
So do you, cutie pie.
Thank you. I should have worn my glasses today, huh?
It's
it's
big
last night
glasses
you
day here
missed
on the
it.
Elimination Lounge.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. So I have two questions.
Okay.
The first one's for you, Alyssa. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I want to know about your walk. Has that always been your thing? What inspired it? Did you just completely come up with it? What's the tea?
I like that. What's the T? What's the TTT? So tell the truth.
Right.
um, I'm from Texas, and gosh, Texas will, woo! You get in, you fit in, or you get out, like I said on the show. And it breeds entertainers to be large and grand and bigger than life. And it's kind of always been my walk. Um, and it did look like I was directing traffic. I was a flight. I was a flight attendant. There's an exit this way. There's an exit this way, and there's two in the back. Um, no, it's like the gig. It is. It makes up the act of Alyssa Edwards, the antics, the shenanigans. So, um, yeah, it's always been there.
I
Well, it's
love
great.
it.
You should keep doing it.
It is
Me too.
Thank
magical.
you.
So my second question is for you, Michelle.
Okay.
Clearly, some of the queens that come on each season have been inspired by, at least in part, by some of the queens who've already been on. I'm curious to know if you've noticed any inspiration in Rue. Like, has she taken any cues in her own personal style because of some of the girls that have come on?
That's a
No.
good question.
Rue is a trendsetter, and Rue and Matthew, they have what they do down to a science. And sometimes they take risks with hair or fashion. I remember when Rue back in the late 90s decided to do this whole jeans thing, this whole
Hmm.
denim, with boots thing. And,
Like the flowy
sometimes they
tops.
take, yeah, sometimes they take risks, but not really. I think that there might be a time where Rue and I will look at a queen, whether it's Alyssa or Mimi or anybody else, and go, I really like that. I'm going to do that. But chances are I'll try it before Rue does, because Rue's got this beauty thing down to a science. I don't mind looking a fool, clearly. So usually, Rue loves it and Rue's open to it, but not much with changing the image. That monster's down to a science. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I know
just
you guys have other
perfect.
people, so thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you, baby. Tell the prisoners I said, hey, holla.
I will.
Take care. Okay, so you guys have a lot to say. We're just going to keep putting cameras on. So producers, you can go ahead and feel free to do that. We've got Chad. Oh, hey, Chad. How are you?
Hey, Michelle! Finally! I've only been waiting like a month for this. Hi, Alyssa. Hi,
Oh,
Mimi.
stop
Shout out to all my
bitching.
Drag Race
Okay,
sisters.
okay, wait. Inside voice. You're very loud.
Sorry. Okay, so shout out to all my Drag Race sisters, and I can't wait for the cruise.
Yes, me too. Okay, so what's your question, cutie pie?
We always talk about inspiration, inspiration, inspiration. How much was Jinx like Sharon last night? Oh my God, that runway look. Sharon Needles number 3, 4, maybe 2.
Well, no, I disagree. Jinx did classic Dia de los Muertos, which is, a very festive day in Mexico, and she wasn't doing Sharon Needles at all. She was doing her interpretation of something magical and fun, and Needles they're so different. I didn't feel anything at all related with them last night. I understand how the viewer could, but that's no, absolutely not anything related. But you know, Jinx was amazing last night. That was an amazing look.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think
I
it
agree. It
was
was
Sharon. It
definitely
was
amazing. I loved it. It just seemed, yeah.
well, I mean, Day of the Dead. It is
And
obviously with death. So I can definitely see the connection.
Yes, because Sharon is the Walking Dead, literally. But it wasn't, it was to me, it wasn't because Jinx has nothing spooky about her. Sharon's all spooky. The whole character is spooky. But they weren't,
true.
besides doing the skeleton thing, I promise you, it wasn't related at all. So I don't think any of us felt that way, but I can understand how it would look that way. But hey, sometimes inspiration is a great thing, and
Yeah,
if
look at
that's
those.
what what he meant about inspiration, why not, right?
Yeah.
Was that
And
it, Chad?
another question too, because everybody
Okay.
keeps, no, another question everyone keeps asking in the chat room. Do you think that, and this could go to Alyssa as well, do you think it was scripted for you and Coco to be in the bottom two as opposed to you and Detox? Because you and Detox said, oh, we're going to put on a great show, and everyone's saying, oh, well, maybe it was scripted for, Coco to finally win over
I'll answer
Alyssa or
that,
something.
I will
Alyssa.
say,
I'll answer that. Let me say this first. There is no scripted, okay? This show is not
hey,
scripted. Things happen the way that it happens. Was Detox a mess last night? Yes, Detox was a mess last night. But you know, like Coco needed to be in the bottom two with Alyssa. I think Detox eked by. If there, she was in the bottom three. There is no scripted. Now,
I
Alyssa,
agree with
answer
that.
that.
Not to cut you off, Michelle. Um,
Oh.
well, there's no script because obviously you can see I'm not a good actor. And I and I would say, and that's keeping it real today. Um, I think my reaction too when
Mhm.
Coco was announced, because being there, it looked like Detox was struggling a little bit with putting together the costume and the runway look, the overall look. We all felt that it would have been her, and it was assumed the role that I would be there, and um, obviously coming on the stage the judges see something completely different because they see the final product and then they measure up the runway look. So after watching the show in my house again, I could see why Coco was there.
And they all
I
like that
personally know the
jumpsuit.
show isn't scripted, but
I didn't like the jumpsuit with them whack ass Michael's craft store flowers on it. I'm sorry, I didn't like it.
But Michelle,
Um,
mine was the worst of all 5 seasons.
it was not. It was not. I couldn't even believe he said that. I was like,
I disagree.
no,
I disagree. I'm sorry.
yeah,
There were some tummy brown outfits that were a lot worse. There were some outfits from season one when the girls didn't even know what you guys were expecting that were a lot worse. Season
yeah,
four, I mean, there were some
Um,
looks I would have thrown out the window and never wanted to see
yes,
again. So,
yeah. There were quite a few. But thanks, Chad, baby.
yeah,
We
Shangela
finally
had
got you
called.
on. Yeah,
yeah.
Shangela's outfits was one of them. So I know that's your
Well, she
drag
called
daughter.
me last night. Yeah, she called me last night. She said, "Mama, don't you dare for 1 minute think you had the worst look in 5 seasons of Drag Race."
No, you didn't. You didn't. Hi, TK. How are you, baby? Okay, your microphone's not working, TK. Your microphone isn't working, Boo Boo. This happens quite a bit. Come on, we'll give you a few seconds to try to figure it out.
He's very excited though. Whatever he was
I know
saying,
he
he was
is, and
very
I have a feeling it's
excited.
gonna be really loud when it happens.
I have my finger on the adjusted volume thing.
Thank you, Mimi. I know you're good at that.
I'm monitoring.
No, TK, we can't hear you, Boo
Maybe you could
Boo.
move his lips and then. Oh, hello?
I.
No.
Okay,
Next
Well,
try
one.
again.
Almost.
Yeah, that's all right. Try
Shout
again,
out to
Boo.
TK.
up
It's
next we
coming
got
on.
Sunny.
Hello.
Hi, Sunny.
Hi, Sunny.
Hello.
How are you, baby? Okay, so what's
Hi.
your question, Sunny?
Okay, my question is for Alyssa Edwards. I want to know if she thinks she has a shot at Miss Congeniality.
Why are you laughing, Michelle? Why are you laughing? Michelle, why are you
Oh my
laughing? I
God.
will say this. I loaned ear. Hey,
Let
in
me make
all
let
re-
me make a list of things that are gonna happen
Go
before
ahead.
no,
that.
in
Go
all real
exactly.
in all realness, I loaned earrings. When Coco won the comedy challenge, those are my earrings. I
Mhm.
loaned earrings. I loaned nail glue. I loaned spray tan. I loaned
Girl,
some rouge.
that makes you a drag bank, not Miss Congeniality.
No, no.
No, no. I mean, probably not.
You think? I
And
think
Probably
it,
no.
well, I don't know.
I think
But it's
that the
Alyssa. Alyssa can read. And
No.
you know what I love about Alyssa more than anything, you guys, is Alyssa loves, you can see the joy in her face when you read her. She
yeah.
loves a good read session. Loves it
Yeah,
down.
but you know
She'll
what, Michelle? I'll say this though. I will say this. I never once went into a confessional behind four walls. I never once waited for someone to walk out of the room before I read or engaged in an adult conversation. So it was like I kept it real all season, and I mean I was true to myself with that. Girl, we can
I
sit here
think
and read
at
each other all day,
I
but
think
as
at the
long as we keep
beginning
it real.
at the beginning of the
go
series
ahead,
you
Sunny.
started off like very not likable at the beginning, but towards the end everyone fell in love with you. Me and my boyfriend, we love you. We love watching you. You're
Thank you.
hilarious to us. And I was so upset when you left. It was pretty depressing. And one more thing,
Yeah.
they say that you had the worst look. Let's just remember Mystique's Western look. It is something to remember. It's
Mystique's Western look. Victoria Porkchop Parker's beach wear. Let's talk about Madame LaQueer,
We
any
can
of
just
them.
stop there.
Let's talk about
We don't have enough
Serena
time.
Chacha. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Mimi. I did that for you.
Oh my
Serena Chacha's
God.
grandma is somewhere pantyless, and that is sad.
Yeah.
That is sad.
Yes. Yes. You can't. Look, again, it's a matter of opinion, but and I've had a few doozies of my own, but that is absolutely not the worst of all 5 seasons. And I'm not saying that to kiss anybody's ass because I ain't got no need to. But I can say that no, it reminded me of one of your little kids. It looked like a dance recital outfit, didn't it, Alyssa?
Girl, that was
Yeah.
inspired by Dancing with the
Right.
Stars.
You need to be
And
the
Well,
new cast
clearly.
member on
No.
Dance Moms. You need to be the new Dance Mom. Come in, whip these 12-year-olds into
No.
shape. You have a spin-off right there.
That
Do
would
it.
be fierce because the Dance Moms Miami Queens were cute, but they did not do the job. Alyssa would be amazing
baby,
there.
my
She's
kids
fabulous.
are
Same.
beyond fierce.
Okay,
They're up there
Michelle.
Oh,
in
I'm sure.
Michelle, I have
Yeah.
one question for you. One comment question. Do you feel that anyone who wins this season of Drag Race could win against Raja's season of Drag Race?
Season 3 was an amazing, amazing, amazing season.
It was my
It,
favorite.
Well, of course,
yeah.
I wonder why. It was one of my favorites too because it was my first season, and that season was great. But to compare seasons as far as contestants is like apples and oranges because they're
They're all
so
very different.
different. Yeah, so it's not. That's a tough question. It's all subjective. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
Sonny?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But
I
thank
get it.
you.
Okay,
Thank you,
thanks,
Boo
guys.
Boo.
Bye.
Bye, baby. I see TK's sad face. I'm sorry, TK. I'm sorry your microphone wasn't working, but whatever. I know we're running late, but I want
Oh
to
my
do a few
God.
more questions because you guys have been waiting because Alyssa came on a little
Yeah.
later. Anthony, hi, Anthony.
Hi.
Hi,
Oh my
Anthony.
God, this is fantastic. I've been trying to like talk to you guys forever. You're all my freaking favorites. Alyssa, we're
You are
like
so cute.
we're the professionals of drag. We're professionals. I'm just saying real quick. I've got a question for everyone. What have you thought of Relaska talks? Do you think backstage they were kind of cliquey and kind of rude to each other, or do you feel like they were trying to be friends with everyone?
I will say that being backstage, they really weren't rude to each other. They just,
No, what
I think,
about to you? Were they rude to you?
no, I didn't take them rude to me at all. I mean, I'm friends with, I befriended Alaska through the show, but I knew Roxy and Detox coming into it prior. I think it was just something that, when you're in a room full of strangers, it's natural to migrate to who you know and what you know. And I think that they just kind of migrated toward each other to make this like, you know, best friends. I don't think it was the Mean Girls. I don't think they were like out to like, you know, be per se maybe the girls that thought they were better up here. They just kind of were friends that were uniting. I got where Alaska was
Right.
going when Michelle made the comment that Calix could be dangerous. Because in the end, it's a three-way and one's always left out. And, you know, I got where Alaska was going with it, but I think they had a history, before the show. So they
Right.
were excited that enduring this experience together. My opinion.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And I completely agree. I'm so glad to hear that they're all nice people because they've all been my favorites as well as you. Oh my gosh. All me and my friend do are just talk about you and just you in general. And oh my God, I'm like fangirling right now. And one more
You're
question.
so cute.
I'm panicking. Have you talked to Jay Jolie since the show? Because I was really disappointed to see her fat shame because that's so rude. Because
Yeah,
it's
it was
just
rude.
like that's not fair. Like I saw videos of Jade and I was just living for her and seeing her say that like really like struck me. Like I was really upset.
Actually, I don't want to hold anything that the other entertainers said about me personally. Um,
Hmm.
I think that in the heat of the moment, we all tend to say things maybe that we necessarily don't mean. Um, I have hung out with Jade, not just spoke with her. And watching back on the show, maybe some of the things are like, but it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Like I said,
Hmm.
Jade did apologize though, Alyssa. When I had her on
she
here,
did.
she did
She did.
apologize.
Yeah, she did. And she
I
apologized
missed
to me
that. I'm
personally.
sorry.
So, she did do that on the show, but she did apologize personally to me. I don't think that Jade necessarily thinks I'm like this huge plus size queen. I think that we're all in a competition and we are going to maybe say things that potentially could be hurtful at that moment. Because look, the real deal is this: when me and Jade read each other from A to Z, 5 minutes later, I looked at her and I was like, "Girl, I kind of really live for you though." And she's like, "I live for you," and we hugged. And what everyone didn't see is me and Jade we partnered up in the beginning, early on in the competition,
I
and we
remember
got
that.
ready next to each
Valence.
other, along with Coco.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like sisterly love a little bit, I should say.
Hmm.
Um,
It
Girl,
just
stay.
struck me because it seemed like a personal attack where she just wanted to hurt you. She wasn't trying to read. She was just trying to hurt your feelings.
Yeah,
And I
she
don't.
was. At that moment, that was her way of reading. That was her way of attacking, and it
Hey,
was
but
her
what you
way of
guys missed?
going for the jugular.
Let me, Michelle, what you guys missed backstage. Let me tell you what I told her. She was like talking about my costume having back rolls, and I told her, "Well, you know what, girl? You know how you know I have back rolls?" And she said, "How?" I said, "Because when they called the winner, you were behind me." And she was like,
Yes.
and she just looked at me.
That doesn't even make any sense. This is
Yes, it
why we
does.
love Alyssa Edwards.
Michelle,
I got the joke,
think of
Alyssa. We're
Michelle.
we're we're
I'm
comedy
trying.
queens.
Yeah,
We're
Go
break
ahead.
queens,
I'm
Alyssa.
trying to
Tell me.
land a joke. The only
Okay.
reason you would clock
We
that I
know how
had,
that worked out for you, Alyssa.
yeah.
You can
No
imagine.
comment.
I
I have
live
no
for
comment.
Alyssa's jokes. Don't even. I
Listen,
live
Michelle,
for her.
she clocked that I had
Yes.
back rolls, not because she was
Uh,
seeing me from the front, but when y'all told me I was the winner of that challenge, she was behind me. That's why
Yeah,
so
you
she
could
was
just
she
Explain
stand
it.
in
came
line.
in
Stand in
after
line
you.
behind me.
But
Then you're
let
gonna
me
see
just say this.
behind
Let
me.
me just say, as a comic, if you have to explain a joke,
It wasn't a good joke. Survey says.
That's our downfall, Alyssa. Our jokes are
Alyssa loves her own jokes. Alyssa loves her own reads. This
I was
is why
talking to
Alyssa is brilliant, people. Do you get it? This is why she's brilliant.
I was talking to my friend of mine who does drag, and I'm like, I am Alyssa's biggest fan. He goes, that's impossible. Alyssa is Alyssa's biggest fan. I'm like,
Amen. And that's the way it should be.
Amen.
This is the way it should
Alyssa lives for
be.
herself. She lives for her gigs, and I mean, I can only hope to be her second best friend, other than herself. And
Thank you.
oh my God, you're fabulous, and congratulations on everything.
Suicide hotline, please hold.
Thank you very much.
I know I should, right?
You guys are all
Right.
fantastic. and
Niles.
I can't wait to see you all next week. And living.
Thank you, Anthony.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I love you. I love you all. Can't wait to see you next week.
Bye. Matthew said it's maybe just that you didn't understand it. No, it's bad. But now that she explained it, which she shouldn't have to do, I get it. It's cute. It's cute. It's shade.
Girl, it's shade.
Cute.
The
It's
shade
cute
of it all, yes.
It is. It's shade. It's a shade. I just wanted to say, Alyssa, I was devastated.
Yeah.
When I came out, the rap's over, you wrap the day, and I'm going to look in my car, and I see Alyssa standing there in the parking lot. I'm not allowed to talk to the queens until after they get voted off, and I see Alyssa standing there, and I have tears in my eyes. I'm like, I go running across the parking lot. I'm like, I love you so much. Because I don't get to talk to them at all, not ever, when they're on the stage.
But Michelle, did you ever
And
clock
it's really,
me staring
really
at
tough.
you? Like, did you ever clock me on the runway just like staring at you? I was like just totally mugging. I was like, I know Michelle's looking at my nails. She's like, and I was, I felt myself just like, I was like, when you came in to do the walkthrough with the comedy, I was literally like
Yes.
shaking. And,
Oh.
Rue's been such a huge influence on me and my gay little life. But you as well, and hats off to you that so many people, no, it's the truth. And you inspire so many entertainers and so many of us girls on the show. You keep
Aw.
it real. You come with that Jersey attitude, and it's real, but it's also helpful, and it's tactful and tasteful. I know I got a lot of like people saying, how did I feel about Santino? I like Santino. I think Santino is incredibly talented,
Yeah.
and people are saying, do you feel like he's qualified? Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
drag.
Oh, please. Alyssa, the qualification bullshit. People come for me all the time.
My
with
grandmother's
that. And
qualified.
Look,
It's art.
that's
It's subjective,
it.
and it's one's own opinion. And I love when Jinx would say "water off a duck's back," because I
Yeah.
say that now. And every time it starts to do the elimination, like last night, your outfit's the worst in 5 seasons. I'm like, water off a duck's back. I'm saying that on the microphone in front of my whole group. So, I mean, you got to be able to take the criticism that come along with it. So,
Have you come a long way with your orgasm situation?
okay, hold on. Let me sit up for this.
Let's
Let's talk about orgasm.
Let's go.
Baby. Because I have experienced some of the most phenomenal orgasms in my time. Let us not forget that I am a basketball wife. And I have I'm going to leave my personal life personal, okay?
Okay.
But that little act of orgasm was far from reality, baby. We're going to leave it at
I know. I think that you're very, very self-conscious when it comes to acting challenges. I don't think that you are able to drop that self-consciousness. I think that you're really self-conscious when you do acting challenges.
And you know what? I don't understand either. I always wanted to be like a theater geek in school. That's what I wanted to be in high school. And I was like a theater tech. I was running around begging to have a role in the musical, or and I didn't care if I couldn't sing. I wanted to be in the chorus. It's you know what I think it is, honestly, is I had this wall that I didn't want to let down of who the character of Alyssa Edwards is. And I'm going to tell you this. If they do another All-Stars, I'm auditioning. And I'm coming back with the vengeance, bitch. I'm going to take me some acting classes, and I'm going to take some singing gigs, And these bitches better watch out because if I learn to act and
No.
sing, it's a wrap.
Alyssa, Alyssa, I know you can act because you do it in character. You're so fully, completely Alyssa Edwards that you've created
Girl,
this
that's
character.
every
That's
day.
acting. But that's acting. You've created this character. That's who you are, but it's acting. The singing part, I'm going to suggest that you don't take lessons and you just let some sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah, well, on that, yeah, I may now, but I will say this though too, is going back to the acting thing. I really felt like I gave my all. There were just 5 other bitches better, and that's the name of the game. And so I just embraced it. I was not going to sit up there and go, "Oh, I was the best telenovela girl. I turned the party," when I know I didn't. But I felt like I tried. I gave my all. When Ruth said, "Do the orgasm again," I looked at him and I said, "I can do it 50 more times." And I just, sometimes you fall short. And, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is indeed.
There are a lot of queens in this season that are acting queens, and it might not be your strongest suit, but let me tell you, you are a fierce queen.
Thank you, Mimi. And I want to say something to
anybody who
that.
thinks otherwise should
Not to cut
spend some
you off.
time on YouTube watching some Alyssa Edwards performances.
But you are. Go ahead.
I think people shouldn't place us queens into a category. Because let me tell you, demographically in the South, pageants are huge. And for me to get my act seen on stage, I had to do pageants. And now that doesn't mean necessarily that I didn't fall in love with them. I remember watching Miss Texas at home with my family and my mother. My mother made a comment to me. She said, not one of my daughters could get close to winning Miss Texas, but I'm proud to say my son did. So pageants here are huge.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I am not. Girl, in my head, I'm the girl on the stage at Def Comedy Jam every Saturday night. When I'm in the show. I love to MC. If I could tell jokes, I would tell jokes for my act. But I believe in performance, so I don't think it has something to do with the pageant girl, a glamorous girl, a comedy queen.
No.
Because, girl, I feel like I'm all of the above. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be stereotyped. I know we got online, people are like, is this you're the pageant girls versus the comedy girls? The difference is Jinx can do well in a pageant. If she wanted to do a pageant, she's intelligent, she's articulate, she's talented, and she has a look. And if her look is a MILF, she rocks it, she owns it. She could be a great pageant queen if that's what she wanted to be. In her area, pageants may not be nearly as huge, but in Texas, oh my gosh, it's like the deal if you are like a Miss Texas or a Miss USA. So I think that's what I know. That's what I know.
Now, Alyssa, how are things with you and your dad?
I'm very proud to say that. First, that's a very sensitive subject.
Of course.
That whole scene was like. In the moment, I was a little. It was very intense.
Yeah.
I was a little caught off guard. Like I said, my father. I didn't even know he knew how to work a computer. It's good. Life is good. I will say this: my father is a great grandfather, and I have a nephew that's very similar to me, and he's the closest with my dad, which is so cool. I do feel like my dad regrets maybe not having a personal relationship, and I'm taking the time to get to know him, and he is me. I'm actually going to spend the weekend with him and my nephews in Mississippi, and because of the show, it kind of reunited us, and it's very special. And I got a lot of great messages and tweets and emails, and I want to say thank you to all the people that were very supportive, because we as homosexuals, and not just homosexuals, I think in general.
Wait a minute, you're gay?
No!
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a secret, Michelle, I can never tell you.
Yeah, I know what your secret is, girl.
Let me tell you what my secret is I have a 10-inch fully functional cock.
Then you need to call up Jay Jolie.
Oh my God.
Right. yes, me and my father, we are on the road to becoming a family again. So I'm very, very thankful for that. RuPaul, not only is he making stars, but he's also bringing families closer.
Yes, and RuPaul's Drag Race has a tendency to do that, and people underestimate the power of this show within the community and families. And my whole family was watching last night, and I had friends over last night, and my best moment was when my 11-year-old daughter goes, "Mommy, what's an orgasm?" I said to my
Oh my
husband,
God.
oh, it's going to be a long ass night. So
A long
I
one.
didn't really answer. I said, I'll tell you later. And we got away with it. But, I've been answering teabagging and all sorts of fun questions as a mother. So we bring
Oh my God.
families together here at RuPaul's Drag Race. And we want to thank
Yeah,
everybody because we
literally.
went so late today. And y'all stayed with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. And I know we can't get
Yes,
to you guys
ma'am.
all the time. And don't be upset, but it is what it is. We get a matter of time with Alyssa, and we got lots of questions to ask her. And Alyssa, I mean, I'm one of your hugest fans, and I'm very proud of how far you got in this season. I will always be one of your fans. I can't wait to work with you at gigs and have fun together on the cruise. I just adore you and everything that you are. And I'm glad people got to see a little bit more of who you are today here on the Elimination Lunch, because I don't think that they got to really see who you fully are, because you're just really quirky and wacky and kooky. And I love that about you.
You know,
I really do. So,
this is the truth. This is the truth. Is I was the shy, introverted, nerdy little gay boy in high school, and excuse me, and doing drag, it gave me an opportunity of being that popular girl, that varsity head cheerleader that I always wanted to be. Alyssa Edwards is a completely fictional character, and Justin is very different. And it is good for people to get the opportunity to see me for me, my everyday me, rather than just judging me by trying to be like a fierce, I'll claw your eyes out kind of queen, because that's the character. And maybe one day that will make me an actor. But yeah, I'm very thankful for the opportunity for people interviews like this so people can really get to know me.
well, we love you. And I mean, I'm your biggest fan. So count me in as Alyssa Edwards' #1 fan, along with the rest of them.
Hmm.
And you were fantastic. And I think you did this show really proud. And I know on behalf of Rue and the show, we are so proud of you, Alyssa Edwards, and looking forward to continuing to see your face out there shining like the star that you are. Okay.
Thank you, Michelle.
And Mimi, as usual, thank you for being my partner in crime here. I love you. I
Always
hope
good.
that you can just move on. What happened? Mimi got robbed yesterday. It was just ugly. And I'm sending some prayers of strength and light for you, because,
Definitely.
sometimes even though you weren't hurt and it could have been worse, you're left with a really violated, yucky feeling. And I don't want you to feel that, because you are loved. And let's just move on for that. Okay.
Thank
Move
you.
on, new day, love
Yes,
and light.
ma'am.
And everybody else will see you Monday night. Of course, RuPaul's Drag Race Logo TV, 9 p.m. And we'll see you out there on the road, because that's what we do. Okay. Have a great one. Mwah. Love you all so very much. Love you.
Bye, everybody.
Deuces.